Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Now, we've got some time to answer some of our Facebook questions. If you'd like to ask those questions, it's easy to do. You can send them an email form. You can on our Facebook page, whatever it is, but nothing is more fun than on live television. Don't be scared. Here's the first one. This is from Steve. Why do you recommend the egg tie loop or the egg loop knot when tying mooch, I'm adding words here, so forgive me, I can't help it. When tying mooching rigs for herring, why not just a simple snell? Okay, so Steve, you kind of answered the question on your own. Snell knots will work just fine. It's just easier, I think, to tie everything with an egg loop. Most of us can tie an egg loop blindfolded backwards, upside down, walking uphill, backwards. Honestly, so it's just a super easy knot to tie. Now, if you're asking that question specifically because of the tag end that's on that egg loop where it could tear part of your herring as you're running, in particular, a cut plug, running that bottom hook through, you can definitely cut that down tight enough to where it's not going to get in the way. I've never had any issue with that. Now, that being said, a lot of times I will tie my mooching rigs with a snell on the bottom and then the egg loop up on top, because it's much easier to do that when you're trying to tie a fixed rig, right? So you can do either way, but that's just how I do it, and most folks do it, is just 2 egg loop knots, one at the bottom and the one up on top, again, if it's a fixed mooching rig setup, which I would recommend in a lot of different circumstances. But if you wanted to take that even a little bit further and maybe have a slider as your top hook, so you have a sliding mooching rig, you will absolutely use the egg loop knot. It's significantly easier to tie so that it'll slide up and down your leader without damaging it. So there's an advantage to both. I get the concept of using that much smaller knot as it's tied onto the shank, or excuse me, the, maybe it is a shank, whatever, onto the hook itself. But in the end, if you're worried about that hole popping, there are some videos, meaning that if that tag end might rip it out, everyone, there are some videos that you might be able to find where it's a tagless end, which is kind of what I've got tied here. But that's just, we've talked about it in the past. But again, hopefully, all that rambling answers your question. What's the next one? Let's get through as many of these as we can. It looked like we did have Joel hanging, but we may have lost him. Here's Patrick. I thought I saw one of your pictures where your dog is wearing a Momarsh vest, correct? Yes, that's correct. Do you like it? Does it fit good? I'm looking for a new one for his lab, or her lab, or his lab, Patrick. He's a big body lab. I am shying away from the zipper type. Okay, so that last part, the zipper type, I'll start there. The zipper on that Momarsh vest is very, very good. Now, this is the second version of that vest that I've owned. Drago's gone through one, wore it out, and it had a single stitch on both sides of that zipper. This new one has 2. So it seems like they've improved that. That's good, because I actually had to have that zipper fixed at one point in time. I think it was either last year or the year before. But I got 3 seasons out of the first one, from puppy to full-size dog that Drago's at now, and I just purchased a new one for him a handful of weeks ago because he finally wore the other one out. And now, do I like it? Does it fit well? Fits better than any vest that I have ever seen, and I've gone through all of them over the years with all 4 dogs, 3 of my own personal dogs and a 4th, where the vests are always some sort of a nightmare. Typically, it's neoprene, and you've got to cut them so it fits inside their shoulders correctly without, I mean, really, you can hurt your dog if you don't fit those things correctly. Seriously. Don't do that. Make sure it is fit correctly. But with the Momarsh, you can change it at all times. With the last one, when Drago is very, very small, he's not a very big dog anyway. I think he's right around 65 pounds. He's not going to get any bigger. So overall, he's a small lab. But when he was a puppy, I could fit it to him, and then he could pull it apart, reconfigure it, and then put it back on him as he got bigger. Super, super slick, made very, very well in my opinion, and Drago really likes it. It doesn't affect his movement, and he's always comfortable, which is extremely important for your water dog, especially when it's cold out. And I could not recommend a vest on your hunting dog higher. It doesn't matter if you're in the water or not. If it's cold at all, keep the dog as comfortable as possible. If you folks out there that don't hunt could just see what a lab does in the process of hunting ducks, you would be absolutely floored. They are amazing, amazing. Things that you and I would never even consider, not even think about doing. These dogs are crazy, and it's better to have them protected. Great flotation, puncture helps with that too, like if they ran into sticks, and as well as keeps them warm. It's a huge deal. All right, we're gonna cut to a break. When we come back, if I can, I've got Tom from Eagle Creek on the line. So Tom, bear with me. Other than that, we're gonna line you out on what we got going on this upcoming, oh, I almost forgot. We got the deal of the week for Fisherman's Marine. Don't miss this one, I promise you. If you're setting yourself up for steelhead this year in particular, pay attention. We'll be back to that in just a minute.